You got 24 hours left? Okay, that should be good.
Hey everyone, we're just chilling in the crib here. I'm posting up here with Taylor Gruyere
Hey guys.
and got Ian Mater, Satch McCall, and Corey Matthews, and this is the director's commentary for the TiTiLans, which is a film that we made. So yeah, this is it. We just kind of wanted to, I don't know, maybe talk a bunch about what's going on here, if anyone cares.
We're going to give you a little bit of behind the scenes, maybe some technical stuff. We always just felt like there was a lot of things that happened on set. The filming of the movie was, it was more fun for us than the final product at times. So yeah, we just started the movie. We're just going to be watching it with you and hanging out and talking about the things that you're going to be seeing when you're watching the movie on YouTube there.
Yeah. No, this is this whole section is something that this was probably the most we've ever been in actual pain from filming, or it was just so cold. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, it's fucking miserable. This is also we filmed in chronological order, and this was one of the first scenes that we shot, and it was just Jackson and I, and this is Paul Dzinski here, walking on scene. A lot of people ask us where this was. This beginning scene here, it was the shops at Arbor Lakes. And what Jackson is talking about, the shops, SHOPPES.
They got Dave and Buster's out there, I think.
They do. They definitely do.
Yeah.
But it was so windy. It was so horribly windy that we couldn't feel our fingertips. It was below zero definitely the whole time. And this was the first time we had filmed together, so we were just trying to like synchronize our settings and figure out what the hell we were doing and what we were recording and how we wanted to go forward with the scene. And we just hadn't spent any time sort of exercising those skills together yet.
I think this was shot almost a year before the rest of it was shot.
Yeah, we took a good long break.
We had an idea of, well, at least the beginning of the film, and then we were all excited and we went out and shot it, and then we came home and we were like, oh shit, we need to finish the rest of the movie. Right? Wasn't that how it went? Something like that?
Well, I think based on the script that we'd written, we knew that TiTiLan was definitely a sort of like a very forested, jungly island, but that the beginning scene had so much to do with snow, and it's Minnesota, so we can get these scenes out of the way and then wait 6 months until the foliage came back. So we were limited by that, but then also we didn't have any of our resources together yet. So
yeah. I remember even just like trying to do the sound and the Foley for this, but we had really no idea how to do that or anything. So I just spent like a long time just like walking in the snow with a recorder, just being like, all right, do a couple different steps there just to get the information. And then we learned later that it's I don't know if did we even really use any of that?
Not really. I think I used some of it.
Is Ian Mater the sound man?
At this point, I actually wasn't on set. I don't believe I was recording the sound, but I recorded the sound for every other scene. This is almost all just post-Foley and just soundscapes at this point, so
I don't...
It's all minimal.
Hold that thought for a second. This is something I always like to point out.
Oh yeah.
So this is a device that I had built from scrap, and watch carefully right there. That's when the fucking handles break. Paul Dzinski pushes down on the device so hard that the handles snapped off, and yeah, it got broken real bad. But yeah, that's about it.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to cut you off. If you had
No,
more
that's all
Foley
I had
points.
to say about that.
I remember watching Jackson follow Paul with the microphone as he was crunching through the snow, trying to get some trying to get some sounds there.
And we just like this whole scene was just we just went out into this place. It was, you know, it's like you guys probably in the rest of the world wherever you're watching this from is probably, you know, I don't know, but we up in here in Minnesota we got a lot of those suburbs, and they start, you know, tearing up land, and this is a strange suburb. It just has like these huge mountains, and we just went there, and it was all dirt that they dug up to put in cookie cutter houses in, and we just filmed in there.
Yeah, that dirt's been there so long they got trees growing in it. And then yeah, in the wintertime, you know, you just get this real sort of nice tundra effect.
I guess we should probably talk about maybe what's going on too.
Oh
We
yeah.
could.
Yeah, well we could.
So what you just saw there was a mountain man, and he was in the mountains. But the thing at the end was is the idol of power. For those of you who've already seen the movie, I guess we should say there's going to be spoilers. So you should watch the movie first. Don't watch this first.
Well, they might just watch it. I don't know.
Maybe.
Why don't we
know.
bring up the Mountain Man when the Idol of Power makes its return?
All right.
Later.
Well, I mean, okay, I guess. Well, I guess this.
Well, we don't want to get too far behind either. 'Cause,
I mean, we could explain the IBRF because this is gonna be cut out completely, right?
not for the director's commentary.
No, but for the.
I think it just could be shortened. Here, look right here. Watch carefully as the camera focuses. There's a bone in the ashtray. There it is, right there. Look at the bone. That's a theme that we found important.
Bone theme is very important.
Yes.
Is definitely one of the guiding principles of our filmmaking.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Well, let's just move past the Mountain Man. We can revisit that, but
Sure.
This fella here is Alex Gilliand.
Alex.
Now, Alex, if you're watching, as I understand, when we asked you to come and be an actor in this role, you had quit booze and cigarettes, and we pushed you right off the wagon. And I'm sorry about that, just a little bit, because you were drinking beers with us and hanging out and smoking those cigarettes, but that's just something that all of our actors had to do for us. So you bit that bullet real well.
You know, when you show up to TiTiLan, because you know the set was beautiful. It was just like how we ever imagined TiTiLan to be. And when you show up at TiTiLan, you're just like, give me a couple sandwiches, give me a beer, give me a smoke right now.
Yeah.
And you just, you had to do it there.
Yes.
Well, that is Ian Mater's mom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yep.
I got her to record that in the basement because I needed someone to say that for the movie.
I think we should explain this because nobody understands this part.
Well, none of this dialogue matters.
No.
So yeah, explain away, man.
This part is the IBRF, and this will not be in the director's cut release, because it's I mean, we understand it, but it makes the first part of the movie so slow. You know, it's just like it's an hour into the film with this, and you're finally showing up at TiTiLan. It's just it's too much. But basically, the IBRF is it was originally put in just to show the strength of the connection of power between bureaucracy and TiTiLan and the island and Hustashti, and so show the strength of that, but also at the same time the hypocrisy, and basically, you know, just like what is going on there.
It's one of my favorite shots right here with the
That's the
green
one.
and the gloves and the glasses.
Gloves and glasses.
Nothing else in this scene really. But oh, sorry, I cut you
Yeah.
off there. You would.
So these guys are basically talking about how there was a signal set up in the mountains.
By the Mountain Man.
By the
That's
Mountain
what he
Man.
was doing with
That's
the
what he was
device when
doing.
he broke the fucking handles.
When he set that weird machine off in the mountains with that weird little fucking gourd that he had in his hand that he died for. He died for that gourd in the mountains. And he had this machine. He's setting up the signal, and that signal relayed a broadcast all over the world. but only certain powers can pick it up, and this is one of the powers, the IBRF. Hustashi picked it up.
Well, would it be giving away too many spoilers to explain like the backstory behind why he was broadcasting?
I think
that
we
signal?
should spoil everything.
Oh well, that guy was a mercenary for Hustashi. Was hired and sent out to retrieve the idol of power from the mountains because Hustashi needs the idol to crush the rebel forces.
Yeah.
He retrieves the idol and he sends out his broadcast essentially to be picked up. You know, it's just like, I got the idol, come get me, man, get me the fuck out of here. But then he dies from frostbite or whatever, you know,
Yeah.
starvation, who knows. And
Oxygen.
yeah, oxygen deprivation. And the signal was intercepted by the enormous IBRF satellites. And it was sort of like a wrench in the system, a ghost in the machine.
Yeah.
And they just started processing that shit and trying to understand it, the automated systems of the IBRF. And it went on for 15 years. And then
And they basically they couldn't. It was such a glitch in the system of this perfect like system of bureaucracy that is all about, you know, it's like basically the idea behind it is that any time you go and you fill out a form or you file a paper, that paper or form actually, you know, it's like if you go to the DMV and you're like, I need a new license, they give you the sheet and they're like, fill this out, and you fill it out and then you give it.
bunk beds belting.
Oh yeah.
Like,
And you fill out this form, you give it back to them, they say thank you, and they put it in this file. That file actually gets sent out to this secret underground organization that files all of these forms. And it's one unified system. And so when there's a glitch in it, they basically send out this a monster that's it's a half lawyer, a half undead judge.
You'll see that in a minute. But
Yeah.
that transmission fucked up their system so bad they went into essentially an auto-destruct program.
Yeah.
Release the vexatious litigant.
Oh,
And
you should tell him what you found in this office.
I found a lot of stuff. We were filming this. We did a lot of our filming at Harris Scrapyard and Machinery, which is unfortunately burned down now. But they pretty much left everything in here. I mean, all of us probably have some goods. You know, I got a keychain. I got the guy who owns the property, Mark Harris. I have his social security card. What were you referring to
The
specifically?
social security card.
Oh yeah, I got the social security card. Well, as we gathered, Mark Harris, that was the guy who owns this place. He essentially got a lot of his former employees to look after it for him, and he promised them a bunch of money. But we just sort of gathered,
Former employees are just homeless people.
or just homeless people. But they said, some of them said that they used to work at Harris before it was abandoned.
Ah.
But I don't know. From what we sort of pieced together, that Mark probably just like lied to them and said, "Yeah, I'll give you a cut when I sell the place," but then he just kicked them the fuck out. But it burned down, so nobody knows what happened.
Burn the fuck down.
Yeah, we tried to invite the homeless folks and Mark. I suppose we should explain that too. Harris Scrapyard
Yeah.
and Machinery was, it was run and owned by the homeless. They were everywhere.
It's a
They
compound.
yeah, it was.
It was they had this little tiny house in the middle of this like. It was like 7 buildings of all brick and covered in vines.
all sorts of
And,
scrap
you
everywhere.
know, it's like everything you see in the movie, that was it. But they had this little cottage in the middle of it, and it was just blowing out smoke from a wood fireplace. They had, like, I don't know, a bunch of chickens running all over the place. And
they lived there with
they-
cars
yeah.
and tabs and
They lived there just living
some electricity.
in the middle of the city.
It's no man's land.
We had to basically...
We
You know,
bribed them.
I don't, yeah, and we came to the conclusion that, like, you know, we should offer them something so that they like us, and we all decided that like 24 packs of PBR was going to be. It's like they're not going to say no to that, you
Yeah.
know, like they're.
We show up to film here, bring them some beers and like scratch cards,
Yeah,
and they're like, "Yeah, all right, you just like go film for the day."
and they did that
Yeah.
basically.
I filmed this shot standing on top of the filing cabinet.
Yeah.
It's not important. I just remember that. Because this whole fucking scene is like 40 minutes long and it's so fucking boring. But that's a fun shot right there, folks.
Yeah.
We got a little bit of excitement here. Here comes the vexatious litigant,
Half lawyer, half undead judge.
as played by as Satchel McCall.
He'll sue you from after the grave.
Yeah, he's here to shut down the IBRF because their fucking computers couldn't handle that transmission from the
Yeah.
mercenary that Hustashi sent to the mountains to get the Idol of Power.
And he's gonna sue them all.
He's gonna fucking sue the shit out of them. This is also Ian's mom.
No. What's the significance of the phone? I never.
The
I know-
phone? What phone?
The phone.
The
voice.
vexatious litigant is he's an automated robot program.
The robot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe I'm a robot.
I'm a computer language.
But you're channeled the robot through the voice of a phone operator,
Yeah.
essentially.
So
I do like, though, I mean, the length of this with this, it's like all these fucking things happen, and then the title screen appears, and it's like, oh, are you fucking kidding me? I've sat through like 25 minutes of this goddamn movie, and now the title screen appears. Oh, fuck.
Also, his hand cuts it off, but his full name is Wilson Rigatoni.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like that's
Wilson
important.
Rigatoni.
You'll see, Rand.
Rand.
Everything on this sheet has something to do with the film. I just can't remember specifically why and what and how.
Yeah.
Well, all you need to care about is TiTiLan right there.
And
'Cause Rand. Which is also a recurring theme. This title was pieced together from lines of cocaine.
Yeah. It's the only 3D effects you'll see in this movie. None of that CGI crap.
So the Robin Hood book next to the compound bow was an intentional decorational choice.
Do you remember that bag, that punching bag filled with bullshit?
Oh, that spooked us real bad.
Yeah, it
Was
like,
that it? Jackson and I saw that punching bag.
I think it
and
was a different punching bag.
there was a second punching bag in the back.
Yeah, and
And
it was filled with like horrible powder
Well,
or something.
we picked it up and it just tore open from
Yeah.
mold, and like a big gallon Ziploc of white powder fell out, and we got really scared.
Yeah.
And then it turns out that it was just white powder.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sound effects are from the Sims.
Yep.
Sims commercials.
Whenever they had the TV on, we just a random sampling of all their sounds. I figured I didn't know what the hell I was doing at the time and what TiTiLan TV sounded like, so I figured this would be not a bad option.
It's a great idea.
Yeah.
Well, thank
I
you.
think it goes with his face really well.
This is Raul, as you'll soon figure out. But something about that monkey sticker in that filing cabinet.
Yeah.
It's gonna show up several times.
I love that filing cabinet.
Yeah, you're gonna get a really good view of it later on in the film. But there's a monkey sticker and a train sticker. Just like look at that when it comes back.
I like that window.
Yeah, and sometimes through that window you can see the oven.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think that's a good shot of the oven.
I think if I could speak for Jackson and I, we both really like these shots.
Yeah.
Of just like and like kind of the difference in lighting between the two of them. You know,
It
you're not
brings
seeing
people,
any trickery, folks.
brings
Here.
people home to well, I mean, this is where we're gonna really start the movie in the director's cut,
Yeah.
which you probably have seen because you're watching this.
I mean, a big part of filming Escape from TiTiLan was obviously making the island a real place, and I think we talked about it a lot in location scouting and picking. It's that if it's a third world country and it's humid and it's hot and it's a fucking jungle and everybody's strung out and it's just very undeveloped, I mean, as big and as important as Minnesota is you can find those kind of places. We got,
Yeah.
you know, real big cities, some of the biggest cities in the whole nation, I'd say, even.
Here?
Yeah.
We got the biggest cities?
Yeah. But, you know, you do a little bit of travel and you can find all kinds of parks and forests and woods and rivers and stuff. And it's just like summertime, it's easy to make TiTiLan a reality in Minnesota. And it's just like really cool place to make a movie.
This is like a stone's throw from downtown Minneapolis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right
Well, it's
here.
in downtown.
Yeah.
We should introduce Bobby Butoff and the dog
Well,
Baxter.
this whole scene, I was worried about Baxter the dog drinking that water.
Baxter is a special dog, we know.
Yeah.
Um,
No, he is.
a special dog.
Ian Mater's the owner of Baxter.
Well, technically my father, and he's in the credits. And
Well, you raised him.
yeah, but he's a strange one. He dogs could be autistic. He'd probably be on the spectrum. What we've always said about him. But he's a good boy, and we love him. But he did his best acting job here. I don't know. You'll see
Yeah.
later where he's facing the wrong direction towards something going on for the film's sake, but it's because my father, his handler, is on the other side, and he can't not pay attention to him. So, no, it's coming up here. I guess I could have saved that for a few seconds later. But
Yeah, right about here when he
Yeah.
tries to tug away. Filming with Baxter was really cute because every time that we had to stop and Jackson and I had to get like our cameras sorted or something or like plan out the next scene, Ian's dad would come over and put an umbrella over Baxter and
Right.
like give him some water and stuff. Keep him nice and feeling good.
he's got the dark fur, so like that heat just makes him so hot, you know.
Yeah.
Like, he can't help himself. He's like, please, can you give me the water? At this point, he's trying to. Well, it looks like he's trying to get the water.
The costumes in this movie and the props. The first prop you'll probably notice the most is the cigarettes, which we intentionally decided to put in every single scene. That was one of our rules. When we came together and started this, we said, all right, rule like 1 or 2, every single scene we got to try to get smoking in there somehow. Everyone's got to be smoking all the time. So when we were filming, we got a big ass bag of midnight special rolling tobacco, and it was nasty. It was so nasty. It was just like the cheapest, nastiest stuff you'd find from a like some cornerstone smoke shop.
Cornerstone
smoke shop.
Touchstone.
Touchstone smoke shop. But you know, they smoked it. God bless them. And the costumes were basically just a bunch of shit that we found or had, and we went to the thrift store for some of it. Toby's jumpsuit is this. I think it's called a Work King. King WORKKING. Work King jumpsuit, and I have 2 of them. I still have one. It's unopened. And I think that's basically it for that. I sewed on the patches.
Here's a good part coming up here. See when he slaps him, watch Bobby's face. He smiles a little bit.
I think they just had that.
Cause he likes slapping Satchel. We made Satchel, or Toby there, the guy passed out. We made him do that scene like 4 times. It was like put all that foam in his mouth. Said, all right, hold
Yeah.
it. Gotta hold that.
Alka-Seltzer tablets. Shoved Alka-Seltzer in his mouth.
40 seconds, and he kept doing it again and again. Did a real good job too, because I wouldn't want to do that. That's terrible. Now we're back at Roll's house here. I'm gonna piss, so you just keep talking.
All right. Taylor's pee-peeing in the bathroom.
We talked about Bobby at all?
No, this is Bobby.
This is Bobby. Bobby's he's a charm to have, absolute charm. Charm's I don't know. It's just we went out and we asked people because everything was zero budget, and we said just spend your summer every weekend filming. And Bobby was like, okay, I'll do it for free. And he did it. And he did a great job. And he is like into the character and fantastic, just all around delight to pick up for a movie.
If I may, this is Satchel McCall. I'm laying down on the ground, and Bobby is he was my best friend on this whole thing. We got to know each other really, really well. Just wonderful, delightful, and I thought the thing that I liked most about him is he set the mood for TiTiLan. And I just have to look at his face, and I would be like, yeah. Now I feel like
there's the oven.
I feel like I'm in TiTiLan. Yeah, he's a great guy.
But it was good.
It,
There's the only nudity you'll see in TiTiLan.
Katie Vernola.
It.
That's my girl right there.
You ever
That's Mac Cheney. Barbed wire chainsaw.
you ever notice how many complaints there were about this movie that there was no women in it?
Well, yeah, I did.
You know, there's a lot of people complain about that, and we know there's no women in it. I think one person came up to me and said, why is it that the first woman we see is like an hour and a half into the movie? And
We
I
tried,
I
folks.
just said, I don't know. That's who showed up. But I mean, really, what happened is we literally just, from all the people we knew, we just said, hey, will you spend your time out here in this crazy ass place making this movie for free? We'll give you sandwiches, hell of a lot of sandwiches and beer.
And beers.
And that's just who showed up. It was no, really kind of out of our control. Because God knows would have loved to have lots of women in it. I think also that we decided at a certain point too that having, TiTiLan is such a nasty place. It's a horrible place.
Terrible. Third world country.
And,
Fourth.
Maybe we didn't necessarily want to cast a lot of women in it. Do you ever think about that? Ah!
I was say you're being really reserved about this. And
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is Jackson and I are both really mad because we're going around for fucking 3.5 years, and we say, yeah, we're making this movie. It's feature length. It's it's just like here. It's got the craziest script you've ever seen, and people are like, oh my god, I want to be a part of it. Like that sounds like the coolest. We get their information. We try to call them up. We try to get them to be a part of it, and just like nobody even wants to have it.
Yeah.
It's just like all these people. Wow, that's the best. Oh man, I want to be in your movie. Fuck yeah, well, let's get you in there. Here's several weekends in a row that we can squeeze you in and give you a part, and you're gonna fucking be in it.
Can't do it.
Or they just don't
Oh.
respond at all. There's that monkey sticker again.
That's that file. I should have taken that file cabinet.
Yeah, we should have. But it's like we tried to get so many women in this movie, and besides the fact that TiTiLan, all women just, this is not a good place for them. But at the end of the day, just none of them wanted to act.
I described it once to a someone of a female persuasion, and I described it, and they found it offensive. But I just said that we think that women are such strong and beautiful people. We didn't want to have them rolling around in the mud and smoking cigarettes and just like barfing and like just being a general piece of shit.
Well, that would have been pretty good though.
It would have been great. But it's like anyone who tries to throw some sort of I don't know, it's like throw that out there. That's my main argument is
Well, we didn't have any resources, and the next couple of movies we're planning have female leads. So it just, Ian, you got some.
No, I was just thinking maybe you talk about the whole wrestling aspect of this movie.
Oh,
It's like,
yeah.
Well,
For anybody who thinks wrestling is stupid, go watch wrestling because it's the most incredible phenomena of the past 40, 50 years. It's just so incredible, the showmanship, the entertainment. So this all comes from basically wanting to incorporate and honor wrestling, professional wrestling. Not that fake Olympic shit.
Yeah. What did it say that wrestling was really important to the directors, both Jackson and I, and that, we both watched a lot of wrestling growing up, most of the Attitude Era, I believe.
WWF Attitude Era.
It's like, it doesn't even matter if it's fake or it's real, just like the finesse and the athleticism, and especially like the kind of drama and the stories that they had going. We wanted to work that into TiTiLan, and our fallen hero Raul here. This is a flashback. He was the champion of TiTiLan.
He was their national sport.
National sport.
Yeah.
Wrestling. This was also filmed in Harris Scrapyard Animation. I like this location a lot. We filmed here because there were some lockers, but it's in the very top of one of the big buildings, and like the floor is all rusted to shit. And actually, during one of these scenes, we snapped the pull cord off of Mac Cheney there. That's a 1962 McCulloch chainsaw that Jackson restored for me for like my birthday or something.
I bought that from Craigslist, and at the time I was going to a small engine school, and I brought it in, and I was working on it, cleaning the carburetor and whatever, and
look at Bobby doing the "you're gay" fingers there.
Yeah.
It's middle school game. I didn't keep going. I didn't mean to cut you off. I just that.
And I brought in Mac Cheney. I was working on it. My teacher came up to me, and he's this old, he's this grain-fed, Wisconsinite, and drinks a lot of beer, fixes a lot of lawnmowers, sort of guy. And he came up and he was like, what's this? And I said, it's this 1962 McCulloch chainsaw. And he's like,
the Widowmaker.
Yeah, you know what we used to call these? Widowmakers. They don't got a chain brake on them.
That thing was nasty.
Wow.
2-stroke monster. We should probably talk about this real quick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Corey Matthews.
That's Corey Matthews.
Right there. No, he's sitting here with us, and for Christmas he got Jackson and I a membership to Minneapolis Television Network. So we filmed all of these TV portions in MTN Studios a long time before maybe like a year and a half before we even filmed like the first winter scene.
I don't know. I think it was a solid 6 months.
Well, we brought in loads of shit. And it was a pretty cool place. They had switchboards and like 4 different big cameras.
They were all so crabby there. The crabbiest people.
Well, that's why they went out of business.
They were so crabby. It's like going to the DMV.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
We were wrapping it up. We rented some extension cables, and I wrapped up the cables the wrong way.
Oh, yeah.
They yelled at me. They said, no, you got to wrap it up the right way, but they wouldn't fucking show me the right way to wrap it up.
And it's all these old men, and it's like semi-middle-aged, between old and middle-aged men, and they're all just like weird kind of AV nerds or something. I don't know why they're there, but they were just so rude and not appreciative of bringing any sort of creativity into the studios, which in Minneapolis are dominated basically by Somalian prayer trance videos.
Now, Porky in the Pig House is Jackson and I have been working on this for a long time. A passion project. Maybe possibly what we're going to be working on next. It's a sitcom based off of all the classic American comedy sitcoms. Everybody Loves Raymond, Two Broke Girls. It's got the real staples in there. Everybody loves Porkin' in the Pig House.
Porkin' in the Pig House, every time I watch this movie, and good lord, I've seen it many times, it's the only part that I don't cringe at. I'm just like, yeah, this is good. I like everything about this.
We'll call this the pilot.
Yeah.
This pilot for Porking in the Pig House.
That's a pilot.
Is, it's like, we don't like any work that we do, really, but we like Porking in the Pig House.
I do. I really do. I really like it.
This is good. This is good stuff. You're quoting it all over the house all the time.
All day long, and I have to come
Home
to
to
this.
Look, and yeah, man. So we're trying to get something together. I don't know if it'll ever happen, but
I'm glad I brought the booze down here.
yeah.
By the way, anybody who watches TiTiLan, Escape from TiTiLan, without at least some sort of
Inebriant.
yeah, all I have to say to that is while you're watching that,
Good luck.
yeah, good luck. Sorry.
I want to point out too, specifically with these shots here where Satchel's smoking, Satchel did pretty much all the makeup, and I don't know if he did a really fucking good
You did
job.
great.
Like, it looks really good. Everybody is like worn out and sweaty and tired. He did his own fucking makeup too. And I just like these shots where you get reactions from him watching this American TV. I think that is a good example of how good his makeup was.
Did Satchel do the makeup for this?
No, not on the American TV, but when we get reaction shots, when he's sitting in the tub, he's got like the red. It's like he looks like he just woke up out of a fucking coma, and I think that's good makeup. Here we got a pork chop sandwich.
Yeah, sandwiches and bones.
Pork chop sandwiches is an emerging theme.
Do you ever realize how sandwiches and bones are both colloquial speech for a marijuana cigarette?
I could see that.
Same.
I gotta roast this beef real quick.
Roast beef.
So now we get down to the meat and potatoes.
Yeah, so this is where if you're really smart, you'll know that this is the part of the film where Hustashti orders the Idol of Power off this television network.
Hustashti's watching TV.
Yeah.
He's like, there's that Idol of Power that I sent that mercenary out to get 30 years ago. And now I can just buy it. And he does. See? We filmed this goddamn scene for like an hour.
There's a full version on the internet.
There is.
You can watch it.
Yeah, it's called American Programming on TiTiLan television or something along those lines. It's not just the smell of snow. We have the Idol of Power sitting on the mantle of our fireplace at this particular moment.
It's been around for a long time.
I don't remember where it came from. I think.
Thrift store.
Yeah, maybe I found that at the thrift store.
You know, I found out how much those rotors cost. That one right there.
That motorcycle rotor?
Yeah.
To the right?
Guess how much that cost?
125.
It cost $250
Jesus
for one of
fucking
them.
Christ.
Yeah.
Do you still have it?
No. I thought it was junk.
But
it cost $250,
it looks
brand new.
really nice.
Yeah.
That's a motorcycle rotor?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
was like flabbergasted.
At one point, I wore that around my neck
Yeah.
at a festival.
Yeah.
And strode around.
That was
Yeah.
cool.
That was a Cosmic Shapes event as well.
Yeah, that's true. We
We're booked.
we got some free tickets for that.
Yeah. Right now, he's starting to hallucinate. You can tell because of the sounds.
Yeah.
He's getting really trippy right now.
Oh, there's a good story. That woman right there with the bags in the background,
That's right.
she's on a billboard over in Wisconsin.
That's right.
Mound, Wisconsin.
Mound, Wisconsin.
There's a Mound, Wisconsin.
There's Yeah, we took that stock image and then we were driving through Wisconsin and we saw that same fucking stock image.
Man, people use stock image. That's what they're for, you know.
Yeah, but it was spooky. All of a sudden, boom, there it is. Personally speaking, for me, this is one of my favorite lighting scenes.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
one of my favorite scenes too, but you really see the progression of like daylight to sunset in Raul's home as the sun gets lower and the light gets harder. I don't know. I
Does it
like
get
it.
older and harder.
Older and harder. All of us, we've seen these things.
Oh yeah. This is
Wait, when does your face get?
at some point in this I burned Satchel's face. Or no, his chest.
My lip when he pulled me out.
Yeah.
It's that scene that you did
Hey, you had a mark on your face. Where was it?
in the next scene.
What are you doing here?
So yeah, he actually, when he pulls me out here, the cigarette that I had in my mouth gets shoved into my own face, and it burned my skin. Like the top layer of my skin was like cleanly burned off.
There it
right
goes.
then, and then he spits. Yeah, that was nice. But you'll see later on afterwards, there might be this like pasty thing on my face because I had to quickly like make up quick because I. That's one of the like second or third time I've been injured in the line of acting.
I say Satchel's a real champ in this scene, because I was doing the filming for both cameras in this particular part, because Jackson had to be Hustashti, and I could hear him slamming Satchel's face into the bottom of the tub, just bam, bam, and Satchel is just like, yeah, it's fine, we gotta get the shot.
You know, I got a D in acting class at the university.
Sweet and crunchy.
Salty and
Oh, salty and crunchy.
I like, you know, the I'll Drown You Alive. That wasn't in the script. That was just I said that. But I think I've really come to
Sex
like it.
2.0.
As I'll Drown You Alive. Yeah, that's good. You know, it's a lot scarier than being drowned dead.
That fucking I hung your cigarettes out to dry. You watch this movie live, and that's everybody's favorite scene.
Yeah.
Oh my
he's
god!
talking about
Oh,
to
there
dry.
they are, the cigarettes. I love it.
it's a good joke. It's a good.
It is a
joke.
good joke,
It's
but
a good joke.
it works. It's a good
It works.
joke. Those red plastic sheets on top of the table are
They had-
hazmat bags that we found.
We ripped him up.
Tell us about this.
Food.
This-
Yeah, the food.
Yeah.
Oh, the food.
Ah.
What was the? It was water and.
Root
No,
beer,
it's root beer and
Root beer.
root beer and beer.
No, but what was the chunks?
And-
What was the chunks?
Well, the
That's
chunks
oatmeal
were oats, and we found all of these spices on the
Spices.
ground. They were all over the
They're
ground.
drops
Yeah.
we just found on the-
We put them there. We put them there on the table, and then we didn't tell Bobby, and then he just started like cranking them in the soup, and we couldn't ruin the scene because we were in the middle of filming and we didn't want to break it. Like, oh, cut, you know. They just started putting all them fucking spices in the soup. They just, they're gross.
It was meant to be gross.
Yeah, it was gross.
It worked. It worked.
It worked. Look at it. And the flies, the flies somehow just kept flying around, which is perfect.
I like that cup over there.
Oh, with the little face?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and the bottle of water full of brown. All those spices we found on the ground. Don't know how old they are, where they came from. And the rooster sounds in the background were actual cocks strutting around. That's not in post, folks.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
tried to fight one of those.
I don't know. So,
Yeah,
I added
there's
some
that
extra
one-
animal noises at this point in the background. So
There was that one rooster that was such a piece of shit. It
Yeah,
was
he'd
the
get in
alpha
your
one.
way.
Yeah, and just like it was gonna fuck you up
It
if
was
you
a
got
cock.
in.
Block your
Yeah.
path.
literally a cock.
That thing would have killed some other rooster if we cockfight with it.
Little Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah.
You got the spoon, I got the fork.
Yeah. We like this scene, but other people do not like this scene.
Yeah, they think it's gross for some reason.
Yeah.
This is one of the best scenes. Jackson and I were talking about cinematography a lot, and how we wanted to film this movie. We're big fans of Andrei Tarkovsky, and how he forces the viewer to stare at somebody's facial features,
Yeah.
or like a particular element of the scene for an uncomfortable amount of time, and you can just really get the chance to study. And that's kind of what we wanted to do here.
I think in the preliminary, even almost probably before we wrote the script in its entirety, we had a bunch of rules and just things we agreed were going to keep the imagination alive, which was, it was the smoking, and it was also the just everything that happens, make it torture the audience a little bit.
Just what they get.
Just let them squirm a little.
Yeah.
In their seats, just like, oh my god, is this still happening?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you get.
And
Just look at it.
And look, these scenes. There's several of these. We get in real close. We spend look at how close this shot is cropped in. We spend a lot of time. We're trying to give the viewer a good picture of the facial structure of these characters because they're very important. And even still, we get folks coming up to us at the end of the movie saying, "No, you have too much setting up shots. You got too many wide shots. You got too many shots focusing on the location." And maybe that's true and maybe it isn't. But we tried to give and build as much character as possible. The island of TiTiLan was as much a character as the rest of the characters, but we wanted these scenes to really sort of focus on... just look at that boy. Look at that beautiful boy right there.
I think a lot of my ideas for planning a shoot and Taylor's too is, live theater. I think it really produces a lot of raw emotion, and a lot of the times I think that movies, they don't capture enough raw emotion, and in order to capture that, you really have to do longer takes and make it more like a play, like you're shooting a play. If you go back to melodramas and musicals and things from the 1950s and 60s, it's almost like they're just shooting a play, which is something I've always really admired and wanted to try to do, because I think it's a very intimate experience with live theater. And if you take anything away from that intimacy through... so I think I just saw a movie the other day where some guy was jumping over a fence, and it took him 7 cuts for that fucker to jump over the fence. 7 cuts. He gets ready to jump, and then they cut, and then he's jumping, and then he cuts, and then he's almost top way through it, and they cut, and then he's coming down, and they cut, and then he's coming all the way down, and it's like, what's the point? Just jump over the goddamn fence.
We kind of tried to film in waves as well, where, we've just had... The previous scene was one of punctuated violence, and now we're coming into sort of a more reflective scene. One sec, I gotta roast this bowl. But yeah, so now we have this long monologue that was so masterfully memorized by Satchel. I think his
was the only
delivery.
bit of memorization in the whole movie, really.
Yeah, it is excellent, and I think that Satchel, correct me if I'm wrong, you could probably maybe still pronounce this?
Oh, absolutely.
Don't do it right this second.
No, I won't.
But that's just proving a point. As, we're coming from the scene of punctuated violence, now we're slowing it down, and we're really sort of dragging out our cuts, and we're going to give him a lot of camera time, and you look at the colors and the sweat on his face, and so we're going from a peak to a low to a lull.
Yeah.
and then we'll speed it back up again, and it's just like you just kind of gotta ride the
Which one of you
waves.
two wrote this monologue?
I wrote it, and then it was assessed and corrected by Jackson.
Yeah.
So whoever wrote it was then approached by the other.
And there's such a difference between what you write on a piece of paper and then what actually happens out there.
Oh yeah.
It's like it's almost as if the script really doesn't even fucking matter at a certain point. It's just like, yeah, you got it down, but I don't know if it's like it's gonna change. Even if it's in your own head and you write it down, and then it's in your own head and you shoot it, it's gonna change too.
Yeah. Well, I think Satchel kind of did what we wanted
Oh yeah.
from an actor. He took what was written
This is one of my favorite scenes.
and he figured it out for himself. And some of the other actors tried to make a stronger point of just like strict memorization, which isn't necessarily what we were interested in. This is like, as long as you understand the character and the scene and the sort of the inspirations and motivations, you can say whatever you want. But
Yeah. Victoria did a really good job.
oh yeah, and she'll come up later. But
Yeah, we'll
that
talk about
boombox
her.
there in the back on the left was maybe somewhat kind of a mistake. That was the boombox that we were going to use for some future characters, the Laser Brothers. But we mistakenly put it in scene here, so we couldn't have it make a repeat later on in the film. I mean, maybe nobody would have noticed or even fucking cared, but I don't know. You can't have it there and then like move it on. That's a cool boombox. Ian bought that and then sold it to me for 25 cents or something.
I think the scene is also important because it was one of my favorite scenes, but also it really, I think, hits home what this movie is about, and that's the thing everyone asks, what the hell is this movie about? Well, I mean, it's really just about human experience and people feeling things and thinking things. I mean, that's what human experience is. And these guys, they're talking about this shit that happened to them, and it's like, was it bad? Was it good? I don't know. Was it? I mean, it's something that happened. It's and everyone's got that story.
Yeah. Escape from TiTiLan, it was a fun movie to make, and it is a fun movie to watch, and you do need a certain level of inebriation to enjoy its peculiarities. But also something that was really important to us is that, they're kind of like what Jackson was saying is something that was important to us was that Hustashti isn't a black and white character. Raoul loves Hustashti and is afraid of him at the same time, and it's this complicated relationship between the ruler and his citizens. That was pretty difficult to get through the script. I don't know. I've lost my words now, but
Well, it's difficult to get through the script. It's also difficult to get through to the actor, and I think they did a pretty good job. We tried the best we could, but it's like we did what we could with the budget that we had, but this movie is the idea of it, I think, surpasses its physical existence.
yeah.
Like it's something that we could explain far better if we just go to the bar and speak nonstop about this idea of this island while we drink 2-for-1s. But actually putting it into a movie is very difficult.
Well, we had a lot of this material, and we had a special collector's edition DVD booklet that was included with the first 10 sales. That's not really around anymore.
Yeah.
But digital copies exist. But we got to move on because now we're coming into the first musical number.
And this is where it really picks up. I think from here on out, it's smooth sailing.
Yeah,
we always say.
we're reaching like minute 46, and now the movie it really sort of comes into the cult status that we were shooting for.
It's fun.
Oh yeah,
It's
you know,
fun.
it's a fun movie. It was fucking fun to make, and it was fun to be in. We had a good time making it, and we can only hope that people would have fun watching it, because how often do you get a movie that's just a bunch of like really good friends drinking beers and hanging out for 3 years
Yeah.
and putting it all on film in some crazy fucking place?
I think we could talk a little bit about the song here.
Sure.
And this was written by Jackson on the keyboard.
It was originally made on a Casio keyboard from the.
Do you remember what
early
beat it was?
90s. Huh?
Remember what beat it was?
Disco.
Disco beat. And the song was originally, when we filmed the movie, and we had to make like a mastered version of it, which I did. But I tried to replicate it as much as possible, getting the MIDI from it. And like chord progression, we got Corey Matthews on the vocals. He'll make an appearance later, but this is his debut vocal performance. It was,
And he was on key for 90% of it.
yeah, he was just a
He
little
did a
bit,
good job.
little bit of auto tune here and
We
there.
just
But
decided that we liked the sound of the auto-tune.
yeah, it sounded nice
It
and
sounded good.
sound fun. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, the finished version of this track turned out interesting. I don't know. If I had to do it again, I probably would have done something else, but it worked. It worked. Everyone liked it. It was fine. We went with it.
This part of the right here we say Satchel. Oh, wait, where was it? It's coming up after this. Pretty soon. Oh, I think that was probably it.
It's right here.
Oh,
Yeah, right here.
Oh, yeah.
We said Satchel, someone's touching your penis. Right there. Oh no, that's
no,
coming
not
up.
yet. Yeah.
You'll be pissing on your hands. Anyone just like you or me will turn informer for the man.
That scene right there was.
Dividends are provided.
Well, these scenes are taken from a lot of different places. This is some skyscraper in downtown Minneapolis. The previous scene was under Pillsbury. Here it is. Watch Bobby check his invisible watch in a second here.
Escape. You can escape.
Not quite yet.
Escape from this place. Escape from this island. He had poison ivy or something.
Yeah,
He had a rash.
he bumped into some nasty plant. And, you know, that's what
Bobby.
TiTiLan's like.
There
There it is.
What time is it?
Oh, better check my watch.
What is it, like peedling missiles?
Have another drink here.
Stinging nettles?
Yeah, stinging nettle.
Peating missiles?
Penis
PD
missiles.
needles.
Peating needles.
Oh, this is
Anyways,
the best scene in the entire movie.
yeah, you know, we'd never filmed a music video before, and it's just kind of like Bobby didn't know the words.
We were also thinking like, wait, shouldn't it be I'm on the ground and Bobby's on the roof and I'm praying to him? No.
You know, it's just like we gotta get some fucking footage for this.
This actually doesn't make any sense.
And you know what?
It really should be the other way around.
Well, it's cute, and ultimately Toby is very important.
Yeah.
But you know,
Yeah.
It
did,
works.
Did you guys approach that series of miscellaneous shots?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
okay, good, because, all right, whatever. This is important, too. Who recognizes this?
For 1 freaking second, and fake shovel shit in my face. Go get some sleep. What are you gonna do? We'll drop on the market tomorrow and you can start sorting this mess out.
That's right, folks. If you can tell us what that is from, we'll give you a free TiTiLanese styled t-shirt.
Well,
That's not Escape from TiTiLan t-shirt. That's a TiTiLanese styled t-shirt.
I suppose we got a lot of those left in the basement.
Yeah.
You know what? That's something that
Email us at our web zone.
cosmicshapes@facebook.com. Look, it's very important. If you're in your late 20s, you understand that was one of the most important things about growing up. That quote right there is the beginning of something fun.
And then if you're really smart, you'll tell us which movie that scene was based off of.
You get a couple DVDs for that one.
Yeah, we'll give you a DVD and a T-shirt if you can do that.
No DVD album cover, though. I'm not printing that shit out again. You know what? Cutting that and... Oh, God damn it. Spilled.
When I was lying dead on your couch,
Anyways,
This is this music is a wonderful man, very strange man, named Suit and Tie Guy, and and he's just like this really amazing musician that we ran into, and he uses all modular synthesizers, and that he makes himself. And I found this on his Bandcamp, and I don't think I even asked for permission. I was just like, yeah, whatever, because he just doesn't give a shit about
Now,
his,
he makes cool stuff, but he's got an attitude problem.
he does, yeah.
There's one of my favorite scenes right here.
Oh yeah.
You kind of gotta look at it kind of hard, but you can see how the path just continues onwards forever. And we were talking about it earlier, but how Minnesota happens to provide sort of very jungle-looking scenes. You know, I love it.
It can be lush.
Yeah, very lush. I had a hard time vocalizing what I meant there.
This is one of the parts of the script where we had a long dialogue set up, and
As usual.
instead of working real hard and figuring out how we're gonna make the dialogue, the people talking work out, we just like, fuck it, just do a voiceover and we'll shoot some goddamn B-roll. And I think it works out. You know, we understood, because we understood that our script was so convoluted and ridiculous that
Long.
if anybody was forced to memorize that, I would want to pay them.
I
Yeah.
think we even at this point we had them walking in place while reading from a script
Yeah.
outside to get like footstep sounds and shit
Yeah.
like that.
Well,
Like-
Ian and Jackson and these guys were walking outside and reading from the script. I was sword fighting
Oh, with Elfie and Tyler?
Yeah. And making too much
Tyler.
noise.
There was that extra bit.
Tyler was one of the only actors to change the script.
Successfully.
He just changed it. He said,
Yeah.
this is what's going to happen. And we were like, okay, yeah, let's do it. That's part of the movie now.
He's a smart guy. Yeah,
We'll
he had
see
good
him
ideas. It's coming up. But right after this scene, is another series of beautiful close-ups. I just love the faces that we get the cameras on here.
all we get now is pirated American programming or whatever signals are floating by. What ended up replacing the radio was the beginning of Shostak's hallucinatory propaganda, as you become familiar with.
This was,
Nobody has stood up from you.
you know, this movie is filmed, out of order, because that's just what we had to do. Oh yeah, I love that
That's a
shot.
good one. A Satchel's scared face.
And during this monologue, Bobby decided he was gonna start doing like kind of a southern accent to some degree.
Cowboy.
It's a lot more noticeable in the beginning sections of this scene, but
Rebels took the brunt of the hallucinatory forces.
but then he just kind
Nancy
of
Jam.
dropped it the rest of the film, and we're just like, all right, whatever.
These are psychedelic chickens.
They were walking around, and
They see
we had some downtime to just kind of get some beef footage of these chickens here.
I wonder, do you think they were eating those chickens?
I don't know what homeless hippies do.
Yeah.
I want to talk about the filming style of this particular scene before it happens.
Yeah.
Well, this scene right here took like 10 takes, but that's besides the point.
Well, they
that
had
was
been
aggravating.
they had been eating sandwiches all day.
They have been eating sandwiches all day.
Yeah.
Mini sandwiches. Bobby had like some chicken fingers and some sandwiches.
Oh yeah, those chicken. I can't believe we haven't mentioned those chicken fingers yet.
Robbers and Thieves. Bobby and
Like
Steve's.
10 cigarettes.
Those chicken fingers from Bobby and Steve's, Minneapolis, South Minneapolis. Amazing,
Real
amazing chicken fingers.
dang. But either way, for this, Jackson and I couldn't figure out how the fuck we wanted to do this black market scene, but we managed to get all of these people together. It was the most people that we had gotten
Right.
for the whole fucking movie, and it was there's that same boombox that was in Raul's house, and we put everybody up in stations, and we told them what to do, and what kind of character they were, and then we said, all right, we're gonna do this for as long as we can, and we did it for what was it, like 10, 12 minutes?
At least, maybe 15.
I think it was
Yeah.
like 20, honestly.
Yeah, it was a long time.
I'll tell you what, these guys kept doing this, and Jackson and I just roamed around and filmed whatever we wanted to film. It was so much goddamn fun.
Yeah.
I loved it. They kept doing it, and they kept doing
They
it.
just
And
kept
Jackson and I were just running around and filming whatever we wanted to. There was no direction. There was no script. There was no planning. And it was great.
They just kept going.
And Paul, just the whole time, just bang, 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 bang. He's banging, and everybody's yelling. And we just kept going and going and going. And I'll tell you what, if it were that kind of movie, I could do this for 2 hours.
Yeah.
I loved it. I don't know. I loved it. It was a great time.
Yeah, I think maybe in the director's cut I'll make this a little longer.
Yeah, why not? There's so much more footage of this particular scene. And it's not that packed. The voices that you hear in the background, it's this beautiful man who has the most beautiful singing voice. He's just a little bit tarded, but
A little bit.
just a little bit. That vocal was in post.
Yeah, we got that later. Alfie, the the only typecast we ever did the whole movie.
And you
I
know
think
what?
that was Bo's joke. You guys typecasting Alfie?
That character there who's speaking with the white face mask and the woven hat, that's Paul Dzinski, who had approximately 9 roles in the film.
Yeah, something like that.
Bless his heart, we had to lower his voice. It just, I don't know what it was. He's a really good actor, I guess.
I would put that silenced pistol in that wood, but it just looks like it's floating there. Like,
Just standing straight up. That's Paul Dzinski again
yeah,
on the
just
left.
Put it in there.
But no, we had to lower his voice because, I don't know, he was just too excited, and people in TiTiLan are not that excited.
It was
Yeah.
3 semitones, to be exact.
Yeah,
3
there you go.
That's my first motorcycle.
Yeah, that first scene, Bo was actually standing still, and we were just spitting on his face to make it look like he was going fast. I filmed this as Jackson drove his truck. I filmed it from his tailgate.
Oh,
This is Twan. This is Tyler Brash. Also an amazing man to work with for film.
Wrestler formerly known as Twan.
He came into this situation and he was just like, he started making up characters.
How about we
and-
do this?
Yeah. He's like, I'm gonna do this and this, and we were like, yeah, that sounds amazing. Let's do that. And it all just worked together so well because he was so excited to make a character. It was fantastic.
He was all about it. I'll tell you what, too. This scene, this was also a lot of fun to make, but when we showed up the next day,
Oh, yeah.
we got a stern talking to.
Brad.
All those fucking homeless guys who own
Brad-
this place.
Brad, the senior homeless guy.
Yeah.
He was the captain of all the homeless people there. He, we brought him his, 12-pack or 24-pack of beer, and he was like, "Hey, you guys are on my shit list." And we were like, "What? What's going on?" He was like, "Man, I had to clean up after your shit, and I don't bend over for nobody, man." And we were like, "Oh shit, was it? Oh man, we're sorry, dude. Did we cause we didn't sweep up in the abandoned fucking courtyard?"
The whole fucking place is already trashed.
And he's like, "Yeah, man." And then we went and we cleaned it up. We cleaned up that whole fucking
We spent
courtyard.
40
Yeah.
minutes. We went and cleaned up all that mess.
Cleaned it up.
And then
And we organized all the fucking trash into piles. And then the next day, he was like, "Oh, yeah, that looks great, guys. Thank you. Oh, man, it looks fantastic. Never looked better in there."
yeah.
And then apparently also, we organized the Raul's house. He's like, before it was just like a bunch of appliances and trash and shit. We cleaned it out, organized it, and apparently the homeless people had been using that room as a kitchen.
Yeah.
Because we organized it so well.
Raul's kitchen. Wait, like we had mentioned earlier, when Raul was preparing the soup, he came to us and he's like, "That's the best," and I guess they started using it as a fucking kitchen. They loved it. They loved it so much, and then from then on, they just we didn't even need to bribe them anymore. Yeah, that's me.
There's Taylor.
This
This is the black market
Put a bunch
entrance.
of shit on your face.
yeah, a bunch of chocolate
Rebel
in my
leader.
teeth, and I gotta say, this is my favorite part right here. Coming up,
Here it
right
is.
here. This is the look at that shape. Look at that fucking shape.
There it is.
Twisting,
There it is.
just the soft movement.
Yeah.
That makes the whole movie for me right there.
Interesting shape.
Yeah, I love it so much. It was hanging on a wire. But this is a beautiful room. Director's secret. Also, the same room that we filmed the IBRF in.
And as for the subtitles, basically, that's a long story. But basically, in the script, the original script, the person there you see is a native speaker, and that's his character name, and the native speaker is one of this elite groups of TiTiLanese culture that can still speak the native language. And Raul can also speak the native language. It's kind of like a rare thing because there isn't many native speakers out there. But the thing about the language is that it changes retroactively for whatever you every time you say a word, that word's meaning changes retroactively. So the reason why the words don't make any sense to anybody is because you can't translate TiTiLanese.
It's a fluid language.
Absolutely impossible. And any attempt to translate it further changes the definition. So it doesn't matter, and yeah,
I'd like to draw attention to the blue squares
blue squares.
in my costume.
I've always.
That's it. That's it. We have one bar left on the battery. Is that legit?
Just keep it going until as long as it can.
Yeah.
Is
once
it
runs
the light
out-
will just go out?
We can't
But
pump.
will it still save the card even if the battery dies?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Yeah, it should.
You do intermission.
Do we have more batteries?
Yeah, there's more batteries.
After
Do that after.
We blew 2 power strips in this
That's
scene
correct. Yeah.
because we were running electricity from these ceiling mounted outlets, and we just move this fucking ladder around and then run extension cords to power strips, And then we were putting these 600-watt theater lights and this fucking Subaru generator all on one fuse, and it would just...
It was a Subaru generator.
Yeah, it did not like it. I like this shot a lot, personally. The previous shot as well, just because of the variety of tools in the background. Also, talk about an understatement. You'll overdose within 10 minutes. And our main character, Toby, walks into the National Drug Refinery and immediately collapses to the ground in a pool of blood. I always found that to be humorous. And, of course, here we also have Toby dropping to the ground and just a very fine set of legs appearing from the darkness. Boom, there it is, right there. Look at that. It's like bing, bang, boom.
First feminine influence.
Well, Lilibel. She was
Well.
back in the other thing, too.
Yeah. This is most.
For this scene, Jackson and I went over to... Oh, did you want to...
I'm good.
Jackson and I went over to... This is Jackson's sister, Asha Brown, just like Jackson Brown, the 80s love song artist. And we put this setup in her garage, and while Jackson filmed, I was up in the rafters above, swinging lights and sprinkling powder, and that hose that's running around her neck there, Asha never knew it, but Jackson was he brought an e-cigarette, and he would rip some fat clouds and he would blow into the tube, and all the smoke or the vapor would it would go all over her face, and she thought it was a smoke machine. And you know what? We tried to get the smoke machine hooked up to those rubber tubes. We duct taped the tubes to the smoke machine. And
Danny and Asha's house.
yeah, the smoke would get halfway through the tube and then it would condensate. So it just didn't work. We tried all we could. And it just happened to be that Jackson had to blow a bunch of vape clouds through it with his mouth.
All that smoke was produced by my lungs.
This powder, like...
That's
all
me
the time.
shaking flour.
No, that's me shaking
Oh,
power
yeah.
while swinging the light.
This is my favorite scene.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, here's Raul macking on them chicks.
Yeah.
My sister.
Are you finished?
Get rid of that silly rag.
Any more of that
Grandpa's juice.
grandpa's juice left?
Here's some sandwiches.
Oh my.
Put it down.
Yeah. Oh. Let's see what we got here.
This is a good building in Harry's Scrapyard and Machinery.
Yeah.
It's all in one building, and there's some. I didn't have anything to do with the editing, but I think that Jackson did some really brilliant editing tricks here.
It really came together when they put the violins in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's one of my favorite sounds in the entire movie. It's like,
Oh yeah, me too.
this is just right there. Not that we can.
This is Corey Matthews, who's also here, and we gave him the only award in the whole movie that nobody. There's only one award, and he got it.
Fucking Oscar, Grammy, Emmy combined.
Everything.
For-
He got best duck.
Best duck.
Best duck award.
Thank you.
And
He's just
you'll notice a lot of the rebels, they have this vocabulary of duck sounds. We can.
Tyler's was closer to a goose, I felt. He was like, whoa, whoa, during the market scene.
Tyler again coming up with his own character.
yeah.
Well, I've been told that I've been the best duck of the film, but really, I just felt I tried to put myself in a duck's web feet, you could say. and just try to imagine what a duck would do in this situation if he was a supervisor of this decrepit drug factory, and he and his subordinate have a large pile of drugs and no higher supervision than that. And I guess that's what it looks like.
Yeah. So imagine, like, instead of a pile of drugs, it's like a bunch of breadcrumbs.
Yeah, you know,
And it's just like, whack, 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 and it's-
Yeah.
you have to bring it to a duck's level of
That-
understanding.
that level of aggression really came through
Yeah.
with the breadcrumbs and the drugs, and
Mhm.
that's why he gets the Grammy for Best Duck.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And do you remember when we made this? We said, everyone's gonna ask about the ducks. It was like, it was such a thing. Like, we had to be like, we had to explain the ducks and be like, oh, everyone's gonna ask about the ducks. Like, what's up with the ducks? Like, why is everybody a duck? And then we were like, oh yeah, we gotta figure it out. But it turns out that nobody cares about the ducks.
Well, the funny thing
Nobody
is,
notices them.
well, we also never figured it out.
No, we never did either.
We just like ducks.
Yeah.
Look, the rebels. You know, we worked it out in a bar once, but we never wrote it down. It's like the rebels culturally, they developed their own sort of like phonetic barking language
Yeah.
that sounded like quacks.
Something like that.
Something like that.
I think it's important to note Vivian here. The night before she filmed the scene, you guys brought her in for a psychedelic trance show, and she played one of the most psychedelic trance I've ever heard personally, and then came in and did like one of the best performances of the movie.
Yes, absolutely.
Memorized it better than anyone else.
Yeah, she did amazing.
She brought her own character into it and everything too. You know, the scene filmed itself.
Yeah.
I think technically the only troubles we had was with lighting. We were racing against the sun,
Yeah.
and
It's
I
the
think
middle of winter.
It
we-
so
winter.
cold.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was cold, and we started somewhere around ISO 200, and we ended up having to jog up to 800 by the end of filming because the sun was going down. But visually, what we wanted came through just in time. This, Jackson, do you want to talk about this dialogue?
Yes.
Sure, yeah. It's Oh, yeah. Well, it you know, when we were making the script, we tasked each other with certain parts. Like, we both started writing it, and then we came together and decided we needed certain parts of the story, the plot, filled. And we were like, all right, well, you do this part, and I'll do that part, and you do, blah, 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 blah.
Well, we tried to write the
Yeah.
same parts, but it was decided that we just had to monitor each other's writing.
Yeah, well, we divvied up the work, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, we divvied it up. And
It worked.
I had the idea for the rebel leader, and the god and some of that, but it came down to I needed to write the scene for the rebel leader, and at the time I was working at a motorcycle shop, and for lunch everybody went in this little conference room, and they all sat at this little fucking table, and they stared at each other and what they were eating for lunch, and they talked about stupid shit that no one gives a fuck about, and one of these days I went in there because there's nothing else to do. You just sit in there and you eat lunch and you stare at these people that you work with, and somebody said, open up the refrigerator, because there's a refrigerator in there, and they said, hey, this burrito's been in here for 3 weeks. And I said, what is it? What is it? And they said, it's a burrito from a gas station. It's the Big Bomb burrito. for like the $2 thing, and I was like, "Whose is it?" And they said, "Oh, it's Matt's," and I said, "Let me eat it," and they said, "Okay, you can eat it, but don't tell Matt." And I said, "Are you sure you won't be mad?" And they said, "Yeah, it'll be, it's been in there for 3 weeks. He should have eaten it by now." So I ate it, and I took it out of his package, and I wrapped it in a little paper towel, and I put it in the microwave, and everybody was staring at me because they knew that it was a gas station burrito and it had been there for many weeks and is probably rancid and nasty. And I remember taking it out of the microwave and looking at it and smelling it and saying, "Oh, yeah, it kind of smells weird, but I guess I'll eat it." And then I plopped it down on this paper plate, and I put some like salsa. They had like some taco sauce from Taco Bell in a big bin that they'd all collected, and I put it on there, and I ate the whole thing. While everybody looked at me, and I said, "Mm-hmm, yep, it was fine. It's good. It's all right.
That's what that's.
It's fine."
It works.
And then the second part of that, and then I'll finish this up, is one day I was driving in my car, and I noticed that one of my dash lights were out. And then that's where the second part of that comes from, is, all that business. Yeah.
Let me tell you about this scene.
Yeah.
That is Victoria, Olive Garden, and when we got her to do the scene, we were ecstatic because she's an excellent actress. And all I remember is that Jackson held up 2 different dresses. He said, "Which dress should she wear?" And one dress was sort of, neck to toe, sort of, it's kind of boring. And then this other dress here, and I was like, well, obviously it's got to be that dress. Just look at that dress. My goodness.
Beautiful.
Yes, absolutely beautiful. Best actress, wonderful. She memorized all her lines. It was beautiful. And that whole Tree of Life business in the background, we were supposed to like blur that out or like black it out or something.
They were like, "You can use our space, just don't show any of the background." It's
Yeah.
like, oh, okay.
Why?
What's it?
It was proprietary or something. Look, it was Heart of the Beast Theater, pretty much downtown Minneapolis, a little south. And it was really nice that they let us film there. Wonderful people. Recommend that you give them their patronage. That's Paul Dzinski. Yeah. But it's just, I don't know. It's a really cool statue that they had there in the background, and
In hindsight, you could have at least blocked out the Tree of Life. It was like,
well, to be honest, we lacked the technical expertise to.
I tried.
you could just put like some black screen over it.
It wasn't even worth it.
It's just, whatever.
This, like I said, we were filming this movie chronologically, and I don't even know how fucking far we are into this movie, but
Well, here's Hushashi.
yeah,
This is the second hallucination.
look how mad he is. And it's just like Tree of Life. It's just, we gotta finish this filming. Fuck it, we're just gonna get this done. We need to look professional in front of Victoria because we want her to be proud of us. I was up in the rafters with the zoom lens, and none of those shots turned out.
I think I put a couple of them in there. It was pretty shaky, though.
Yeah. Well, I got this tiny little tripod. It just can't handle the weight of the 300 millimeter.
Yeah.
So, technically
that
speaking,
was Asha singing, by the way.
yeah.
That's the god and my sister.
And in
Very
Victoria,
beautiful singing.
yeah, excellent, classically trained opera singer.
She was really good.
And in Victoria's defense, she had claimed from the beginning when she was cast that she was not a singer, but we still wanted her to sing
Yeah,
anyway.
she's
She's a wonderful person, and by God, she managed to get the timing and like the notes with her lips just perfect. I think we all fell in love with Victoria a little bit.
Yeah.
I get to film the scene with her backstage. It was
Yeah,
nice.
it's like for this next scene too. It's like they hadn't told me anything about her, and I hadn't met her really yet, and I didn't know what I was getting myself into. And then she sat down right here in front of me.
No, I was saying get closer.
Yeah, she did the. She was the most amazing. Another delightful treat of filmmaking is meeting an actress like this. She came prepared.
She memorized the most of her lines
She memorized
out of
fucking
anybody.
everything and just was giving 110% the whole time. And
Took all of her suggestions.
yeah, she was like, and like she, you know, it's like we had this character set up, and then, but you know, this was probably the only part where it was hard to describe the character to another person so that they can act on it, which is something a good director should do, and it's very very hard to do. But she was just like, how should I do this voice? Like what should I do? And we were just like, just do it drunk. I think Taylor was just like, you're drunk. And it worked out.
Off topic. These are these papers are all blueprints and like ductwork and mechanical stuff that I had been finding in various abandoned buildings throughout the past decade that we used as props.
And this is the Jiju straight to the.
I think, like, that sneeze in the background was some lady.
Yeah. Well, there was a guy like doing some sort of loud click 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 noise. What was he doing out there? He was
Well-
like,
It's like clicking up some fucking talent.
yeah. Click,
Look,
click.
nobody wanted us to be here, and
No.
everybody
Cheddar juice.
was moving around and working and shouting and yelling and sneezing, and slamming doors.
It's snake oil. We forgot to mention your favorite sound effect in the entire movie.
Yeah, let's mention that
Oh.
because Ian brought it up
Oh, there it is.
when she.
I brought it up. Fantastic.
All right, everyone, go right now. Go to the original film and look up that sound effect because it's the best sound effect in the whole movie.
When Victoria pulls out the bottle of Pantera juice, it makes was it Diablo 2?
It was inspired by it, but it wasn't from Diablo 2. It was two different bottle noises combined into one as just like a generic like pulling the bottle out, but it still doesn't really make sense because like it's like a cork coming out of a bottle top, but it's like
And the shaking of water.
yeah.
Yeah, you get it's just a really fucking good sound effect, so go listen to it a couple times, alright? Look, now we're gonna move on. These scenes Jackson and I talked about a lot. We had mentioned it previously before, but we're big fans of Andrew Tarkovsky. And if you've ever seen the movie Stalker, it's one of the best movies ever made in the history of mankind and the
Yeah.
artistry of mankind. And we had referred to this scene as Stalker to Complex because we have Raul and Toby as they're making their way towards Hustashti's complex. And we wanted to film it in the style of Stalker, which I think, I want to say 1967, but I got a really strong feeling that that's maybe not the correct date, so take that with a grain of salt.
I don't know the date.
It doesn't matter. Excellent movie. Go see it.
It basically just we wanted to embody the idea of, I don't know, just a human. I don't know. You really would have to be out on the road or like in the woods to understand this feeling. It's just like something that you can't. It's really hard to describe. I mean, hell, like people have been trying to describe that through poetry and shit for years, but it's just something like you're in the woods and you're defenseless and there's a bunch of crazy shit around you and you just kind of have to accept it and look at it and be in the now, man. It's a very I think this is the most psychedelic part of the film.
And a lot of what Victoria said wasn't even necessarily filler. It's just kind of like nature comes alive, and you know the government has been working on nothing but security systems day in and day out, and they haven't finished their most recent system. And you can thank your lucky stars for that, lad. Thank
Those
molecular
sandwiches.
degenerative fields.
The sandwiches look so good.
You know what I remember from this scene? I remember that Satchel finished his sandwich, and that Bobby could only finish like 2/3 of his sandwich.
Whoa.
Yeah.
To add to the character, honestly, on this scene, it was literally the first thing I ate that whole day, and I looked at it and I was like, "This is a good sandwich."
Let me tell you what else. These things that you're seeing now, these are all treasures and tidbits that were fished out of the bluff side. We are somewhere known as Joel's Palace, and Joel is a homeless man who has built this palace over the past decade.
In the sandstone.
In Lilydale. He's a very kind man, and he's just, he's made this home for himself. And he's fished all these rocks from the bluff side, and he's found all of these treasures, and he has them on display, and he's just a very beautiful man, and he let us film this scene, the beginning of Stalker to Complex.
He never showed up, did he?
No, he didn't, but
I wanted to meet him.
I think I had run the concept past him before. It was like we were planning on running into Joel and like hanging out with him a little bit and asking him if we could film here, but he wasn't available at the time. He just wasn't around. This is another one of my favorite scenes. Yeah, just right off the train tracks, you get some freight rail passing. It's just beautiful.
The train of the TiTiLan train.
Good Roman train.
You know what? Before TiTiLan had fallen so far, they had a lot of resources that they were exporting to pretty much every other major country. They were a first world country at one point. I mean, we're talking like all sorts of ores and minerals, spices,
Drugs.
fruits and drugs. Yeah, and then just they fucking ran out. Anyways, Raoul didn't finish the sandwich. This is an original Ian Mater track. I like this.
It's called Sandwiches.
Sandwiches.
It's in the final credits.
So now
you to pay attention.
If you've been paying attention this time, you know there's a sandwich theme and a bone theme.
That's correct. It is a nice shot too. Look, there's all kinds of ferns.
The ferns.
Infinite.
Lots of ferns.
Foliage back there.
Oh.
Who knows about Squand?
Squand.
Yeah, everybody at
Anybody know
home,
what
raise your
Squand
hand.
is?
Squand.
Squand.
Shit doesn't get wet.
No, you put it right in that aquarium.
It's like it gets wet, but then when you pull it out of the water, it's still dry.
Yeah.
Squand.
Did you know about that squand going into there?
Yeah, we knew all about Squand.
Squand, right?
It was
It's
in
the
script.
second time that you've seen this tree.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you remember this?
Only during the first cast party, I said, "Oh, wait, you reused that tree," and then you're like, "Shut up."
Yeah, don't tell anybody. No,
It's
the
fine, it
booze.
works.
Oh,
That was our
knocked over
booze.
the bottle of booze.
You know-
Booze is being knocked out. It's just whatever.
It's
Coming back to. Coming back to. Ouch. Oh my god. Oh, I pulled myself.
There is a deleted scene from this.
Yeah, that's what I was
part,
gonna
yeah.
talk about.
the bolt.
Yeah, we tried to fit some Stalker-esque scene in here.
Stalker the Vidget game.
Well,
with
Yeah,
no,
Jeremy-
no,
Jeremy
it
as
was in the
Bard.
film too. They tied ribbons to the bolts and they threw them.
Oh, sure, but the bolt. I mean, throwing the bolt. That's like stalker.
That's probably also in the book too, though. Anyways, there was a scene where we had Raul throw a bolt to look for anomalies.
And it was just like,
It's the worst fucking scene.
he throws the bolt, and Toby's like, "What's that?" And Raul's like, "Anomalies." Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We were so tired at that
We
point.
cut that one out. Look, we're not master filmmakers. It was no
What do you want from us?
artesian.
Artesian. That's an actual spring.
That shit tastes like milk.
That's what Joel drinks from.
Yeah, the homeless man that we were talking about earlier.
And it's such clean water, like it comes from underground.
so cold.
So clean.
So cold.
Oh, so cool.
It tastes amazing.
We all drank that water.
Yeah,
It was
except
so
for
good.
didn't we bring John there and he wouldn't drink it?
No, Jeremy.
Jeremy wouldn't drink it. He was the he assisted Ian for one scene
Yeah.
for a very brief period of time.
That was a rough day for me. I think I was too hungover to like be climbing around all the mountains. And shit.
Yeah,
And
we
just,
did.
Like, you just want one more shot. Of, like,
Bone.
and,
We were
There's
in the
the
woods
bone
for
for
so
you.
long.
Recorder was just like some wire noise and shit. Well, this is the bone.
That's the
Yeah.
bone.
We
That's the bone.
found that bone.
That's an
Beautiful
important
bone.
bone.
All right, folks. If you've been paying attention, you will realize that we've previously spoken about the Laser Brothers.
Oh yeah, Laser Brothers.
Oh yeah, the laser brother. It's like an hour and a half later. It's like mentioned laser.
Here we are,
This is Laser Brothers.
outside of Ustashi's complex.
This is the part of the movie where I feel like I always imagine the audience is just like it's just like giving up.
Yeah.
It's just like
I want to point out that Raul gave Toby a really good shove in that scene.
Yeah.
It really doesn't translate through camera, but he pushed the shit out of him.
I wanted him to.
And you know what? This transition
Yes.
took so goddamn long. Jackson and I sat and
yeah.
we tried everything. And you know what? The star wipe is really good,
Star Wipe.
but I'll tell you what, it probably took 40 minutes of like just sitting there trying to figure out how to do it.
Yeah.
Star Wipe.
Well,
We're doing
because
Star
the original
It's
shot.
a 3 Mile Warehouse.
That's yeah.
It's like 2 miles.
The original shot of that was he actually fell down
Yeah.
during that. He jumped and then tripped at the last moment, and so the right after the star wipe, he actually falls down and
Let me tell you what else about that boombox.
Oh, yeah.
Once you're finished,
Yeah, it lit on fire.
we soaked that boombox in kerosene. Everybody's, the kerosene's gonna evaporate.
Because it was
Quick,
gonna explode. We are gonna have
light
like,
it on
explode,
fire.
You know.
It was supposed to explode. Oh, the kerosene's gonna evaporate. Got it on camera, and it had been a couple seconds, and
well,
I finally,
it does explode,
I got the lighter on it, and the whole fucking thing blew up.
and then everyone gets like
Really
it
nervous.
spooked the actors. They were like, "Whoa, shit!" Because there's like next to this exploding fucking boombox.
Jeremy asked me if I was okay, and I was like, just act.
Just go.
Don't ask me how I'm doing.
And that's why we had to scrap that because.
Anyways, the boombox didn't blow up in the final version.
Yeah, you can't replicate another. Like, all right, next time the boombox explodes, don't act so surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what? We had a copy of that boombox, but it was mine. And I wanted to keep it, and it's in the garage now.
Broken to St. Paul.
Oh no, we didn't break into here. We had access through one of our informants, and this is in the basement of some hotel in downtown St. Paul. We can't say any more about it than that.
Yeah. You want to fight this out in court? Go get a lawyer.
Yeah,
Go get a lawyer.
serve
We'll
some
battle
fucking
it out in
papers.
court.
See you in court.
Yeah.
That's it. We didn't script that, but I always kind of liked how Toby looked at that clipboard stuck in the crack there.
I like how the color of the barrel top is the same color as that wall over there.
Yeah, that's nice. This is a really good track
Yeah.
from Vivian Oblivion.
She plays the rebel leader. She's an amazing human being. Most creative person I think I've ever met in my entire life.
Agreed.
Yeah, beautiful person.
And she makes amazing music. And this was off, I think, an album from 2015. I believe. 20 or late 2014, something around there. No, it was probably 2015. Oh shit! What year is it? 17?
17.
All right, it's probably 2016. Jesus.
Well, yeah.
No, it's 2015. I don't
Yeah,
know.
it was just
Whatever.
called- You know what? Just
like, I don't know. It must be 2015.
It was called 2015. This scene, this is a very long scene, and this is called the hallucinatory battle, and this is where Toby battles Hustashti inside of some mind dimension. And the way that we wanted it to happen was we wanted it to be extremely psychedelic. So we wrote we wrote the best case scenario. We wrote the best possible script that we could imagine, and we decided that whatever we wrote, we would just try to make happen as best as we could with our extremely limited resources. And that's what happened. You know, we got this really sort of crazy thing going on, and then we're just like, okay, here's who we got to act it, and here's the props we got, and here's the locations that we can use, and here's what we can do in post. And we did it as best as we could.
Basically,
That's Paul right there.
that's another Paul.
That
yeah.
is Paul Dazinski as the gatekeeper of the hallucinatories, of the hallucinosphere.
At the end of the 2 mile warehouse. 5
That-
mile warehouse, whatever it is.
2 mile. It's about a 2 mile warehouse. It's got the hallucinosphere, and that's the gatekeeper.
Seth will make some good faces
Oh, yeah.
during that.
Oh, yeah.
I like this little swirl here.
Yeah, this swirl looks good on certain screens.
Oh,
So
it's so funny.
it depends on how you're viewing this movie, if that was funny to you or not.
You know,
You watch it at the Heights, or no, you watch it at Pepito's and it's just fine. You watch it at fucking, like a really nice projector, and maybe it's
On
not
the
so
internet.
fun. Hey, if you're watching it on a Macintosh, it looks great. You're watching it on a
Yeah.
PC, you're gonna see.
you're gonna see too much detail.
I personally think that Toby during this scene right here, when he puts the phone up to his ear, looks just like Scully from X-Files. But hey, that's my opinion.
It's like, really?
Yeah, that's the way I feel.
Mulder.
No, Scully.
Yeah.
I think Scully.
This is, if anybody's confused about this part, this is all just like in his mind, man.
He's got to break through the hallucinatory minefield that Hustashti set up before his office. So
it's
there's some serious shit going on before he can break through.
now this song is if anybody has not seen the cook, the thief, his wife, and her lover, you should stop this right now and go watch that, because it's a way better movie than this movie.
Yeah, that's true.
And
But just watch it afterwards.
just watch it.
We're almost done here.
Yeah. But this I took this from that movie. It's not original from that movie. It's fucking Henry Purcell of the 16th century. But it was a vision that I wanted to replicate, and we tried. It was it's a good song. It's Klaus Nomi sings this song. He sang this song. It's called the Cold Song, And right before he died from AIDS, Klaus Nomi went on stage in a full Elizabethan outfit and sang this opera style, like directly from the, Henry Purcell's notes, and it's just about death, and you said, you don't. I know nobody understands this movie, but I think people understand certain processes in life, which is birth or rebirth and growth, and then plateauing into middle age, and then death. And really, that's all this movie is you have Toby, and he's reborn on this island. He grows and figures out what his life means as a human, and then eventually everything dies. It's just, that's the way things go.
Well, I'll tell you what. I wish I could follow Jackson's train of thought, because that sounds very nice. But this particular scene I wanted to talk about just real quick.
Oh, yeah.
Well, both of these scenes. Well, for one, we dragged a generator like a mile through foot-deep snow. And we started it up, and we blocked it off as usual with the boards of wood to prevent the sound. And we ran lights through the woods in the middle of the trees. And it was freezing cold.
We
and
bought
we
a bunch of whiskey to keep us warm.
We had to drink the whiskey. It was Fireball whiskey. And you know what? It was the only way Jackson and I could get Ian to do the sound and Satchel to do the acting, and for Jackson to get changed into his Sustashti costume, and for me to tolerate being there. We all had to drink all the whiskey. It was terrible. It was about survival, and we got it done. And during that scene that you just saw, where they were shaking hands and the light was glowing and the goo was spreading, that was all rubber cement.
Rubber cement.
Rubber cement.
It
It was fucking rubber cement. And they all wiped off their hands on my suede and wool jacket.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, shit.
Which is in my trunk. And for this scene, we are in Lucky 13, which is a drain that is 13 feet in diameter. And that is a train flare that we had relieved from an abandoned train engine. And during this scene, Jackson managed to burn his hand very badly.
A little bit.
Oh, it was a really bad burn.
Yeah, that burn stuck around on your
It
hand.
wasn't that bad.
That burn did not disappear from your hand for like a fucking month.
It wasn't that bad.
I heard.
You talked
people
about
that
it
it
all the
was very
time.
bad.
Look at my
tell me
burn.
about it.
Look at the burn. It's still there. No, I don't care what Jackson says.
This is okay.
He touched that magnesium flare and it burned the shit out of his hand.
It did burn.
It got him.
That was the part at the end when I put it out because I burned my hand. I just went, "Rah!"
Yeah.
Put it out.
Well, anyways, we had to do all this shit in post for all of the sounds.
So Toby is now
Vex.
his automated frequencies of his biological existence has been tripped, and he is now realizing what he is.
He's the vexatious
He
litigant.
is. Oh my God! This whole time.
The whole
The
time.
whole time.
He's the
He was
vexatious
a
litigant.
vexatious litigant.
He's shutting down the IBRF office
And
by
that's-
office.
That's what he was
Well, it's
sent there to do.
He's an
because-
automated robotic
Yeah.
process.
Do you guys get it?
Do you- oh, it's yeah. Anyways, this particular filming location. Big shout out to Charlie Hames.
Charlie Hames of
He's-
the Hames estate.
Charlie Hames, beautiful man. He's like great friend of ours. This is his house. These are all beautiful, real antiques, priceless artifacts. And this man, I really liked working with Burak Tekin.
Barack is the greatest.
He's so good.
I'll make movies with him any day. He's fantastic.
He's got the greatest accent.
He's just down to have fun and be like, yeah, let's do it. Let's just make some crazy stuff.
He was on board from day one. He wanted to be in the film. He memorized, for the most part, his lines.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Oh, yeah.
He was cool to hang out with. He's just a good guy all around. Burak Tekin and Charlie Hames made this whole scene possible at the ending. And you know what?
And I think he shaved too. I was like, yeah, you're going to be playing like this older guy. And he was like, all right, I'm going to shave my head. And it's like, yeah, fuck yeah.
And he got in trouble because he was playing some other, like, theater or show part.
Oh, right, yeah.
And, like, he needed to keep his hair. But I don't know. He was talking about, he just went all out, balls to the walls. It's just all of us, we love the way that he delivered his lines. He's like, bureaucracy, and you know he worked his name into there. Is that bureaucracy? It's like I got tinnitus in every joint in my body.
That guy ended up. He got this really sweet Mitsubishi Eclipse.
He just sold it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he sold it like 2 months ago.
That thing was sweet.
Yeah, he called it the Batmobile.
Yeah.
I would have bought that if I would have known he was selling it.
And this speech, it sounds like it sounds just like a bunch of ass shit coming out of like a piece of shit ass that's just like shitting ass shit all over the place. But it's I wanted to make, so I wrote this too, and I wanted to make it like half of it was inspired by the Network Money Scene. Anybody haven't seen the Network, go watch the Network, 1976. But it's just, I wanted to make it so that it's like it gave you some answers, but then completely contradicted those answers, and just made it so that it was just all a bunch of fucking hypocrisy, and it doesn't make any sense. Which, I don't know, it's kind of like this movie.
I wanted to mention this ending song that's playing right now is very strong way to end the movie. Do you remember who the artist was?
Yeah, it's Easily Embarrassed.
Yes,
they're
like
from
the
the
odds.
Netherlands.
Right here, when like as it goes through like showing what life is like, as I feel like is very melancholy way to show like this is the way that Toby's going to live for the rest of his life, and this is just what it's going to be.
No.
There is no escape from
Yeah.
TiTiLan. This is it. Right
This is
here.
it.
With
Jax-
that sound coming in, it's like
Jackson and I had a lot of talks about this, and Jackson brought it up originally. And I can't help but bring it up. He talked about the end of Scarface and how the
world is yours.
like they kill him, and then they just go about their business and they clean up and they walk around, and life doesn't stop, life doesn't end, it just continues. And here's fucking Toby with a 20-foot long stick.
Just digging through the mud.
He's jamming it into the mud.
We were like, yeah, just film you doing something. So I just like picked up this big stick and I started toiling. I just want to just
Toiling.
You know what? And
Toby toiling.
yeah, this was fun to film too. I don't know. I think Jackson and I.
There it goes.
Jackson and I just wanted to look at Satchel out in the wild.
Yeah.
But more specifically, it's just like there is no escape from TiTiLan, my friend. and here he is, and he's stuck, and this is life, and that's life, and this
Yeah.
is the way it goes.
That is life. It's like there's no escape from life. It's like you can't do anything about it.
That was the longest my hair ever was, and I cut it the day after that.
Well,
Yeah, that's the end. And I think that's anybody who like, I know that people out there are like, what the hell is this movie about? It's just fucking life, man. Like,
That's what you get.
You go through life, and then it fucking ends, and what? Do you care? No, because you're fucking dead. You don't give a fuck. You're fucking dead.
you're fucking dead or you're fucking stranded.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter. I guess it's nihilist. I don't know. It's
Look.
it's just life. What can you do?
That's life.
That's life.
That's life. And you know what? This song was really important to us.
Yeah, Baraka.
Baraka, Love You Till I Die.
Okay.
That the citizens, the denizen
I
of TiTiLan and their relationship with Hustashti.
Yeah.
Love You Till I Die. You know what? Put A and B together. Figure it out for yourself.
Well, I think I wanted when we were making this, I wanted to make sure that there wasn't necessarily any direct religious connotations in it. But by the end of it, I realized that the whole film was extremely religious. Because, it's like Jesus and whatever the fuck, like, I don't know what those fuckers believe in, but I think though that was good in the end. That Hustashti was not only this man of power, but he was also this religious leader. And because religion and cults, they go hand in hand. And religion and cult and politician, so what's the difference?
You know what made Hustashti godlike was his insatiable appetite, his desire for completion, his will to continue to rule. The man works 20 hours a day. Look, now that we've reached the credits, I think that we ought to do some sort of conclusionary remarks. And I'd say, look, personally, as Taylor Guillet, we filmed the movie. It was great fun. We lost a lot of money, but we had a great time. It took many years to make, and I loved every second of it. And we're planning on doing some other things, but for the meantime, TiTiLan, it was our baby, and it still is.
That's what we got.
It's what we got, and we put everything we possibly could into it, and so much of it has to do with everything we love and everybody we love, and we got anybody who wanted to be with us and be a part of us. It's just like spending time with our friends and hanging out and filming videos and drinking beers and smoking cigarettes. Man, that was what was really important. We just...
Yeah.
Jackson loaded his truck and I loaded my truck and we went and picked up people and we drove to the fucking site and we filmed the fucking movie and you know what? And we just did the fucking makeup and we had a good fucking time, alright?
What we did was something that I think that people don't do anymore, and if I may be a little tooting my own little saxophone, but we created a world and we lived in it, and people, they don't do that anymore. It's just like you create this world and you go and you live in it for a summer, and you just live and you figure out what's going on.
Well, we tried our best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's the director's commentary. If you haven't learned everything that you need to know by this point, feel free to drop us a email. Yes, that's right. I said email, as in logging on to your computer and typing it in with your keyboard at www.com. And the email addresses are jacksonagar@gmail, JACKSONAGAR @gmail.com, and Taylor Gruye at Yahoo,
Yahoo.
TaylorGruye at or you can just reach us at Cosmic Shapes at COM
.com.
Music. Cosmic Shapes at gmail.com. That's COM.
I see.
Anyways, you know what to do, y'all.
What's that?
Hit
Home,
the thumbs up.
what's that home movies? The way they end every movie.
It's time to pay the price.
It's time to
It's
pay
time
the
to pay
price.
the price.